Hey everybody, it's Eric Torenberg, co-founder, partner of Village Global, a network-driven venture firm. And this is Venture Stories, a podcast covering topics relating to tech and business with world-leading experts. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Venture Stories Village Global. I'm here today with a very special guest, one of our Village Global portfolio CEOs, Sasha Jokic of Formdwell. Sasha, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you for having me.
Jokic, not to be confused with the Denver Nuggets CEO, Jokic, no relation, just same last name. Sasha, why don't we start with a quick background? What is Formdwell, and what is the insight that inspired you to start it?
So I have both background in robotics and architecture, and almost all my life I have been in construction industry. I grew up helping my family to reconstruct a demolished house in the war-torn country, Yugoslavia, and that inspired me to become architect. And it was kind of my revenge towards the war. So fast forward a couple of years, I ended up working for one of the most renowned architectural office in the world called UN Studio. And that experience helped me to really get a little more understanding how it has been built on the global level. So I have been involved in different projects that are from different complexity, sizes, and design. And really understood that construction as a whole has a lot of troubles and issues. And, having population growth, the way how we build right now, it's not the option. So I decided to quit my prosperous career in architecture, and having this background in robotics, I decided to focus on innovation and robotics. So I basically joined my university in Barcelona to run part of the research, and 3 years back, I moved to US, spent time between New York, Boston, and San Francisco. And for me, it was really surprising that the country, such as US, with really sophisticated economy, has the housing issues. So in all of those three cities, I have experienced the housing shortage, and by myself as well, having troubles to find affordable housing. So, and I feel by being here in San Francisco is actually the opportunity of changing the way how we build, and my skill set intersects. So I feel like this is the place where the whole revolution should start.
Yeah, and why don't you talk more about what Formdwell was when you first started, and how that's evolved today?
Yeah, so we started with idea of building the product just for existing industries. So having spent a lot of time with the construction players in New York and really understanding what their problems are, I felt that data processing is one of the really interesting areas where the computer perception can help a lot. But actually, soon I learned that industry is so fragmented that it's not worth it of our efforts to basically build product for the existing technology, for existing industry. So basically having in front of us all sort of different technologies that are coming from different industries such as manufacturing and the transportation, we actually felt that this is the right time to build the vertically integrated construction company, which Formdwell is. So basically we built a company that creates a high quality homes that are easy to access by everybody. So our team has captured the opportunity of building the process that is 20% cheaper and 40% faster than existing, but as well building the technology that help us to scale up the whole industrialized concept of construction without large investments. So the core of our technology, it's from one side, design-driven process for creating a new components that are produced in any place on the world. So we have been thinking a lot about how efficiently those components are produced, but as well transported or stocked. So basically, you can ship components from China to US and vice versa, and then in very timely manner directly to the construction site. The second part of the process is the portable robotic unit that is basically brought on the construction site, takes those raw components that are shipped to the site and additionally customize them before the whole assembly process it's finished. So by developing those tools internally, we actually can offer the full service to the customers. We are focused on real estate developers and offering them design, manufacturing, assembling, and as well upgrades of the final product, which is house.
Cool. And let's zoom out a little bit and just talk about construction as an industry. Why have incumbents in the space been so slow to adopt innovation? What are the challenges that the main players face today?
Yeah, so if we look into the industry, we'll soon learn that the biggest reason why we don't have technology in the industry is because the main players are not investing more than 1% of their annual revenues in the research and development. But to really understand what is happening in the industry, we should a little bit unpack, why this is happening. So we basically have a lot of barriers for those main players to invest in the technology. And the biggest is basically they're in the business of risk mitigation. Means that you always are focused how to eliminate risk. And innovation, by its nature, it's really a big risk. So if you really want to innovate in our industry, you put your business online, and that simply people avoid. So I think, however, we should kind of define that there is a big difference between the high-rise building and the single-family housing. There's a big difference and also in how much innovation has been adopted in those industries. I'm going to focus more on the single-family housing because Formdwell is focused on this area. So we basically have very fragmented industry. We're affected by a labor shortage, local regulations, unstandardized supply chain. So I'm going to focus more on single-family housing. We have currently single-family housing production, which is very fragmented due to technology drought, lack of labor, very very strict local regulations, and unstructured supply chain. So basically, right now we have a giants in the industry which are worth around $20 billion, but their margins are somewhere around 3%. So we definitely should seek for options from other sides.
Mm-hmm. And what's changed today? So now is the right time to develop, fund, and deploy construction tech.
So we have, in the last couple of years here in Silicon Valley, we have experienced momentum in construction tech. Just last year, we've seen investment around $2 billion in this area, and this definitely helps to attract more people who historically didn't have connection with the construction industry. But looking into the past, we always seen that construction basically has been always kind of connected with with other industries, and basically borrowing the innovation and solutions from those companies. And today we can see that across the different industries there is a exponential growth of innovation in AI, cloud computing, supercomputing, and all of those technologies are definitely fostering the innovation in the industry. Something very interesting, I think that it's really point out here is that if there is a chance, if you work directly for the industry, there is a chance that you can deliver innovation just if you are really focused on one specific module. Basically, you're just delivering a solution for subcontractor who does a drywall, for example, without actually and really taking care of how this innovation interact with the next subcontractor that comes into the production chain. So we have seen a lot of small teams that with small resources have built the standalone applications for data processing, mostly software oriented, and as well cloud computing basically enables them to make distribution much easier and completely different for what industry experienced. From other side as well, having the autonomous cars and manufacturing kind of renaissance, we see that a lot of those technology can be directly implemented in the construction as well. So a lot of companies have invested in the prefabrication factory-based construction process. Basically, those companies are more vertically integrated, and by having that vertically integrated organization, they basically can much easier deploy technology and innovations.
Yeah, staying on the macro for construction. If you read up on the industry, one thing you hear a lot about is the labor and skills shortage of the industry. How does this affect the industry, and how should we be thinking about it?
Yeah, this is one of the biggest problems. And I think I would say the majority of construction companies at the moment are stating that labor shortage is one of the biggest constraints for the industry. So I think just in the last 10 years, we have drop off 15% in the number of workers in the industry, and for the same time, we have experienced as well the wage rise, which is around 35%. Interestingly to say, it's during all of those time, we basically have really historic numbers in industry in terms of the amount built in the both categories, in the single family housing, but as well as high rise. I think here we have two solutions. One solution is basically if we focus more on the immigration. Second is we focus more on technology. And I think that focusing more on technology will bring us closer to meet the numbers that basically can help industry to reach the productivity level they want. I think an interesting example is the Japan, for example. In 19th, there was 1 million construction workers in the industry, and today there is only 300,000. Mm-hmm. And for this period, again, we had their economy growth, and people wanted new houses. So basically, what happened there is that companies started to invest a lot in technology, and right now they have the highest number of prefabricated house on Earth, which is around 15 to 20% of the entire market. So I think from those kind of examples, U.S. construction industry should definitely learn.
Yeah. And what is the state of implementation in terms of construction tech at today's job sites? Like, where are we right now?
So I think we from one side we can see that as mentioned before, a lot of technology is coming from other industries. For example, in the pre-construction phase, there's interesting actually momentum happening around BIM. BIM, it's basically building information modeling software that has been brought from aerospace industry, and this industry basically had been brought from the aerospace industry, and it was meant to be a place for designing the whole 3D model of the building down to the screw, and you basically then take this 3D model and you made the whole planning for construction process. So you understand, where you're gonna buy that screw. So you as well have that procurement category as well. So down to really understanding who is going to install that screw and when. So it's really powerful ecosystem. Autodesk is leading that innovation, and they made a really smart move by opening APIs of BIM, which enabled a lot of companies, startups to build applications and contribute to Autodesk ecosystem. So right now, just recently, we had a really big acquisition of PlanGrid. It was a little bit less $1 billion by Autodesk, and also Building Connect. All of those companies are really interesting application that basically comes from idea of creating one unique system for pre-construction process. From other side, we see a lot of companies are taking more advanced machineries and trying to implement them in the construction process, such as Build Robotics, for example. It's a company who built the autonomous bulldozer. And basically, it really opens a lot of opportunities there, but even more advanced approaches where people are bringing in the whole manufacturing processes in the factory.
Yeah. And let's touch a little bit on manufacturing and construction convergence, prefabrication. How much has this already been implemented, and what trend can we expect in the next 5 years?
So I think ushering manufacturing and the home building process, it's really exciting and brings a lot of options for the entire industry. Mostly focused on decreasing the complexity and increasing efficiency and controlling the labor cost. I think that from other side opens up a lot of options in terms of improving the quality of final product, which is house. So we know that the housing market has been really interested in innovation as well in terms of smart devices and automation. So definitely, the way how we build houses will definitely foster even more innovation on the housing automation as well. However, I think for the last couple of years, we have seen very large investments in the prefabrication industry, and we've seen a couple of companies that have brought the entire process under one roof and kind of replicated the mass production approach what we've seen in the car manufacturing in the 60s. And so those companies are basically focused on hitting the production numbers and volumes. But unfortunately, they are not much focused on the other side of the process, which is basically how to deliver better house, how to deliver better designed house, and improve the overall experience for the home buyers. So I think also, the outcome of those processes is basically a very large, gigantic building blocks that are very hard to transport from the factory to the construction site. So but you basically invest a lot in the factory, and then you are anchored to some specific area. So somewhere around not larger than 200 miles from the factory, because your transportation costs are too large. Yeah. And then again, the assembling process, it's very hard to coordinate because you need a crane, and then you need a fleet of people that basically navigate the process of assembling. And this model has been shown as effective, as I said before, on the production side. Yep. But when it comes to the scaling the process, it's really, really hard. So I think we as a company are really looking into much how to solve this issue. So we basically are trying to combine the mass production efficiency. Means that you basically can produce the X amounts of components with very high efficiency, but then again looking into really what customers wants, and the customers definitely are interested in custom solutions. So we are looking into ways how to basically deliver them product that is custom and that is really specifically designed for their needs.
And let's talk more about homes, because when we talk about homes, what people always bring up is the housing crisis. That's always top of mind. So let's unpack more, spell out more as to how this can help address that, as well as how it can help bring value to homeowners.
Yeah, I think we definitely with the new manufacturing processes and innovation, we are looking into the process that is much cheaper and efficient. My opinion, my general opinion, is that the first batch of innovative homes and homes that are produced with a very high efficiency will be expensive. Something very similar to what we had with the Tesla. So basically, they're hitting the premium kind of market, and then from the premium market are scaling towards the more affordable and accessible home. And this is an approach that we have been also taken in Formdwell. From other side, I think something that we have seen interestingly in the industry is that the customers and consumers are really interested in technology such as Nest, Ring, and other smart devices and IoT technology for home industry. So basically, they are really interested in how to automate certain processes in home. And I think really by designing from scratch the building components and parts, there is a big opportunity that basically the electronics and communication as well can be embedded inside of the structure as well. So unlike the IT sector, where we have Apple and Google, who basically create the whole standard for the entire industry. And so basically, if you want to build an application for their ecosystem, you have to follow their general rules. This is something that doesn't exist in the industry. So there is a big opportunity for smart companies to recognize this opportunity and basically, create universal rules for any kind of smart device and potentially create completely new marketplace.
So, sort of with our last segment of the podcast, I want to pretend that we were running a fund that was solely focused on construction technology. First off, what are sort of the different types of sectors or subsegments of different types of companies we might look at? Like, how do you sort of slice up the world?
I think that one of the really interesting opportunity here in definitely belongs on the home innovation. I feel that it will be a lot of talks and innovation around three topics, which is connectivity, learnings, and health inside of the house. So I think the idea of actually you not going out from home and working from home is really interesting right now and adopted. But it would be really interesting to explore new way of interacting with people who are outside from your home. Other, it's health. So basically means that, there's a couple of companies, I think they're already developing toilet that basically can tell you if you need to drink more water.
Right.
So I think those kind of approaches are really interesting. Learning as well. I think, historically we, always had that desire to learn from home. And I think, once we design kind of better user interfaces and experience in homes, people will be much more interested in learnings at home.
Like my refrigerator would teach me Spanish, or like what's an example?
So I think interesting. I mean, it's still very hard to unpack that, but definitely that could be a really interesting application. I think generally before actually going into the details, we should explore what are the new user interfaces, right? Yeah. I mean, it's hard to imagine really that you can speak with your kitchen, but this might happen in some form. Yes. We know that actually Amazon actually very interested in taking their personal assistant and embedding this device inside of your wall, and putting the sound all around the places. So that might be a first generation of those technologies, and I think the second one will be definitely, AR.
Yeah, AR. What do you think AR will enable us to do in home?
I think first of all, in terms of if we speak about the health, it would be really interesting to explore the possibilities of mapping different kind of environments inside of your room. For example, you can switch from from having a kind of ordinary environment with your furniture into the forest where you feel completely different kind of sounds and that can cause a lot of benefits for your health. So I think it definitely could be interesting to explore this.
Yeah, and let's say you've started this construction fund. What other types of startups would you be looking for or want to invest in, or think that where do you see as the white space or big opportunity for startups in the construction space to be going out?
I think prefabrication, definitely. I think for the first time in history, we have that possibility of, small teams having relatively small resources building the entire organization vertically. However, I think this will just be a temporary for a couple of years. I think the companies will figure out ways how to outsource some certain components, but not before they basically figure out the whole process internally. So I think the whole idea of prefabrication and the way how people design, manufacture, assemble, and basically communicate with their final users, it's really interesting. These are really interesting components of the prefabrication, and I'm sure it's going to be more and more companies who are looking into these areas.
Yeah.
And second, I think area that we should definitely explore more are the materials. So far, building a material startup has been really difficult, but definitely by having those new machines and new processes, I'm sure we will develop a new capabilities of working with different types of materials. So I'm sure that there will be a lot of people who are looking into this as well.
Yeah. And hold on. Sorry, Aaron just called, but he I wanted to make sure he wasn't here. But no, he said he forgot. I have one more question. How should we think about startups versus incumbents in construction in terms of opportunities that incumbents will have versus startups?
The core operation for big companies, it's the risk mitigation business. And I think the entire culture has been built around this. And we know that, looking into the history of Silicon Valley, we know that innovation is about talent and culture and, the way how you communicate new ideas and take risk. I am not sure that the existing construction companies are capable of completely shifting their cultures from existing status quo. So I would definitely believe that there will be more and more startups coming into the play and taking the opportunities that are right now popping up.
Why don't you talk about the opportunities and applications and intersection of robotics and artificial intelligence as it relates to construction?
I think for the first time we have been, we live in a time where, for the first time we live in a time where in order to build a robotic solution, you don't need to build the entire thing from scratch. And that's one thing. Another is that with the computer vision and advancements in AI, finally we can build robotics that doesn't belong only to production line and doing just very simple repetitive work. We can actually take those robots machines and make them to be more collaborative and work alongside their human coworkers. Means that they can build different kind of learn different types of skills and be more productive. Also, we have seen that autonomous cars can work in very dynamic environments such as roads and outside world. And those kind of capabilities are opening a really endless possibilities for the construction industry. And if I think about the complexity of building the robots for construction industry, I would put it somewhere in between manufacturing and autonomous car industry. So the construction site is still half controlled process. You can organize your construction process as in a way that is you can design the construction site around your robot capabilities and make it work. And also the second is the speed of moving at the construction site. It's much at lower pace than the car at the streets. So I think hitting those kind of requirements will be much easier in our applications. It was really interesting to see that There's a lot of research right now in the construction robotics in academia, but as well we can see it in the real world applications as well. I think many people actually don't understand that we require. Many people don't understand that actually construction requires custom-made tools and robots. To give you a little bit more perspective on that, what I mean is today you have a lot of people are actually taking industrial arms and designing applications to lay down the bricks at the wall, but the brick actually was designed that can be lifted by one hand by human, and then other hand stays free to apply the mortar. And by having very large industrial arms that are designed to lift very gigantic building blocks with the precision of half inch, it's really lost of resources. So we should either focus on redesigning the positioning devices or redesigning the building blocks towards the robot capabilities in order to make this process efficient. And I think something what people haven't talked too much about, and I definitely want to give a credit to people in Tesla. I think there is a lot of custom-made robotics processes that have been designed around the specifics of the process and the design of the Tesla cars. And this kind of approach is definitely interesting for the construction industry as well.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to close with?
I don't know. I think we covered everything.
Yeah, I think this is great. Sasha, this has been a fantastic episode. We are happy investors at Formdwell. Is there any last words or any plugs for what people can expect from Formdwell looking forward, or if they want to learn more, where can they point them?
We are in the process of finishing the design and the production for the first house that we expect to finalize in the first part of the next year. So I invite you to stay tuned and look for news from Formdwell.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Sasha.
Yeah, thank you.
If you're an early stage entrepreneur, we'd love to hear from you. Please hit us up at villageglobal.vc/network catalyst.